So this little section, chapter 7 to 12, that Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport of 828. One should try to understand these chapters not by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in association with devotees. That's what we are doing. So chapters 7 through 12 are the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. It's the essence that so Srila Prabhupada writes in the same purport in a lecture on that, verse 828. The first 6 and last 6 chapters are like coverings for the middle 6 chapters, which are especially protected by the Lord. If one is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita, especially these middle chapters, in the association of devotees, then his life at once becomes glorified beyond all penance, sacrifice, charity, speculation, etc. For one can achieve all the results of these activities simply by Krishna consciousness. One gets the results of sacrifices of charities and charity just by performing devotional service. Krishna will say that in the Bhagavad Gita, some different places. One is not derived of the results of all the other processes. If one performs devotional service, that. What was the results of the jnanis if they achieve perfection? What do they achieve? Liberation. Yeah. And the yogis? Paramatma realization. And a devotee, what does he realize? Bhagavan, but that includes Paramatma and liberation. One is not derived from the results of all the other processes. It's a passing that. And therefore, Krishna consciousness is the topmost yoga, is the highest investment. Bhakti Maharaj gave a seminar on that. Krishna consciousness, the best investment. Yes. Okay. So we have heard, yeah.
It is from 7 to 12 or
No, I don't have.
So I want to take on that.
Yeah, take.
Okay.
Yeah, take notes. So what did we discuss in the first 6 chapters? What were the subject? Or what was the main subject? You remember? Yes. Karma Yoga. Your name is Anna? Anna. Karma Yoga. Mainly Karma Yoga. Not only, but mainly Karma Yoga. And there's the last 6 chapters. They will deal with Jnana. But the essence is in the middle. And the essence is Bhakti. Right? Bhakti is the essence. So why will Krishna speak about Jnana again after speaking Bhakti Yoga? Yes.
So the Bhagavad Gita
Yes, but that's true, but there is another reason. yeah, Bhakti shines from karma and jnana. That's true. The result from karma and jnana one cannot have really without Bhakti. That's true. But the last 6 chapters we will see, they are supporting our development of Bhakti with knowledge. And therefore it's mostly jnana yoga that like in the 13th chapter, we will hear how one just by knowledge of 6 subject matters, kshetra, kshetragya, then we have Hyam, Hyanam, Prakati, Purus. These subject matters we will learn. And Krishna will say, by understanding these subject matters and how they work with each other, you can attain liberation. So that helps us to come to liberation and then become Krishna conscious. It supports. And the 14th chapter, the 14th chapter says the same. By knowing the modes of nature, you can come to avoid the lower modes, come to goodness, and then transcend the modes. That's all also helpful for us. We are avoiding the lower nature. The rajas, tamas, we don't do these things. And then the 15th chapter, the same thing, it starts with an analogy of the banyan tree. And by understanding this tree of the material world, one might cut it, the roots with the attachment and knowledge with the sword. And then by understanding who Krishna is, who we are, and what our relation is, because that's Purushottam Yoga, we conclude we must perform devotional service. And the 17th chapter, 16th chapter is the same. How to become a devotee. Well, we don't want to develop we don't want to develop demoniac qualities. We want to develop godly qualities. And by hearing about the demoniac and then the godly qualities, we understand we have to avoid 3 gates to hell: lust, anger, and greed, because that leads to the demoniac. So we want to become devotees. And then the 17th chapter is again about the modes, and 18th is a conclusion of the entire Bhagavad Gita. That mostly the first part of the 18th chapter speaks about the modes again. And the last part, well, the first, in the beginning, it gives a summary of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and then the 3 modes again. And then it gives 3 kinds of confidential knowledge. Krishna says, speaks about confidential knowledge, more confidential knowledge, and the most confidential knowledge. And that we know the confidential knowledge is liberation. The goal of the jnanis, that and many times the yogis also, but especially the jnanis, that so that's the first. And the second, so that is the verse 1854. Brahmabhuta Prashanatmana Sustina Karshti Samtveshbhushamatbhakti explains how to come to the Brahmabhuta platform, the platform of liberation, the beginning of the spiritual path. And Krishna says, then more confidential knowledge is Paramatma realization, 1861. Ishvara Sarabhutnam Vichayanatistim Paramam Sabhabhutam Yantarudani Maya. Krishna says, I'm sitting in everyone's heart and I'm conducting the wandering of all living beings who are sitting as on a machine, a yantra made of material energy. I as a super soul control that. So that's Paramatma. that's the goal of the yogis. And then the most confidential knowledge is Manmana Bhakti Bhakti Machi Mamnamaska Mama Vishya Satyam Te Patichan Priyosimi. The most confidential knowledge, always think of me, become my devotee, offer worship to me, offer your respects to me. In this way you will come to me. And this verse is the conclusion of the 9th chapter also. It's twice we find that verse. But of course, Savadam Grishya after that, that's the most confidential knowledge. So we must always see this yoga system with these 3 confidential, more confidential, and most confidential. And now the middle 6 chapters is about that last part, the most confidential. So it's good. Well, it's important to get the quintessence of Bhagavad Gita. See the connection with the different parts. Does that make sense? That never forget this connection. Then you see always how the Bhagavad Gita is keeping together that. But now chapter 7. So the first and last chapters are like a covering. It's about this most confidential knowledge. So then we start with verse 1, first about this 7th chapter. This 7th chapter, Krishna will make the link with the last verse of the previous chapter. What was the last verse of the previous chapter? Yeah.
Yogina Sarvesham Padyate Nantara Sadhavan Veditevam Samhijittam.
Yeah. So this verse says that the yogi, highest yogi, is one who is united in love with me in the heart. And now Krishna is going to explain how to attain that love in the next chapters. In the 7th chapter, in the 88th chapter, attaining the Supreme. So he's going to explain how to come to that point. So in the first verse, it says one should hear about Krishna, and then one can know him in full. And in the next verse, Krishna will say, if one knows Krishna, one knows everything, because Krishna is the source of everything. And then Krishna further explains its material energies, and then he speaks about the living entity, aparayam iti yame. It's the spiritual energies and then Krishna further says, no one can excel me in this world. And I can know by the taste in water and so on. But Krishna says, Krishna starts to complain, and he says, and so on. Everyone in this world is bewildered by the 3 months of nature, Krishna says, and I'm above the most, and nobody knows me in this world. That is a fact. Nobody knows me. But to know Krishna, in the next verse, you must surrender unto me. And then the rest of the chapter, it speaks about 4 kinds of people who surrender unto him, 4 kinds of people who are not surrendering to him. And then it speaks about the demigods, those who will surrender to the demigods, and he says they are alpha madas, they are not very intelligent. And that's more or less the 7th chapter. There are a few more things at the end, so but that's the essence. Essence is 4 kinds who do not surrender and 4 kinds who surrender. Okay, we'll start with the first one. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ayasakta Manakasta Yoga Yungam Dasvayam Asamsyam Samagamam Yatas Tachvinam. Supreme Personality of God is said now he ocean of Vita, all by practicing yoga and full conscious of me. With mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada makes a point, all these different kinds of yogas are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. Because they lead only to that confidential and more confidential, now only to Brahman and Paramatma realization, which is included in Bhakti. So that concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. So, how to concentrate the mind on Krishna? There are 9 forms of devotional service. This refers, this Nava Anga Bhakti. It refers to a verse spoken by Prahlad Maharaj. Who knows this verse?
Sri Prahlad was a Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Parisevanam Archanam Mandanam Darshan Satcham Atmanivedanam.
That Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Parisevanam Archanam Mandanam Darshan Satcham Atmanivedanam. 9 forms of devotional service. And that starts with hearing, chanting, and remembering. Parasivanam is serving the lotus feet of God. Archanam is eating worship. Dasyam, serving Krishna in so many ways. Sakyam, making Krishna your friends. Atmanivedanam, offering your own self. You can read the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam. And Prahlad Maharaj is speaking this verse to whom? To who is he speaking? To his father. Yeah, did he like it? What did he do after hearing it? It threw him from his lap. The lock was over. But in this purport at the end, Srila Prabhupada quotes this verses of the Bhagavatam of the 2nd canto, 1st canto. And there we have the word that Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana. And Srila Prabhupada makes that point also. Krishna consciousness is a science. It's not a belief. It's a science. Because it says, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. Vijnana means science. That Tattva Vijnana. That Bhakti Swarup Maharaj started a magazine. And I think the name was Tattva Vijnanam. Yeah. Vijnanam. Yeah. But Nice. I read his magazines, and in some publication he was, in the first publication, he was explaining the Vedanta Sutra verse by verse in a very scientific way. Very scientific. Nice to read that one. But yes, Krishna consciousness is the process. That we must all be aware. It's a process with stages. Yeah. And if you go to the stages and you perform it properly, you will get the result. That if you do an experiment, that experiments lead to a result. That two chemical substances, you mix them and it's predicted you will get that result. Yes, because it's science. So therefore, these verses are important. If you want to know the science and explain it to others, memorize this verse from the second canto. It's good to memorize the entire second chapter of the first canto. It's a summary of the whole process. Very beautiful. But it starts with Sastri, Padanantya, Bhakti, Katana, Vachishyama, Sivapaka, Vipra, Punya, Tirthanisheva. Sastri, the process that starts with hearing. Sastri, Gadadanas, with Shraddha we say with faith, but Srila Prabhupada has a particular very significant translation. He said, it translates Shraddha with great attention, with care and attention. You hear with care and attention about Krishna. This just refers to Shraddha, Vasudeva Gatararuchi, that's what you have to hear. Gata of Vasudeva, Krishna. And then you get ruchi, you get taste. But there is a condition to get that. You must also serve the spiritual master. It's a combination of hearing about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and serving the spiritual master. And that combination gives taste. If you don't have taste, look, am I doing that? Probably you are not. That's the cause why you don't have taste. I'm chanting, I don't have taste. You can also have other causes like offenses and so on. But this is the main cause. If you are not following properly, no taste, material energy takes over. And because Sastri is about defining about the mastery about one should daily do two things that Nastya is a better Nityam Bhagavata Seva. Daily, it's Nityam Seva. Daily one should hear the Bhagavatam and serve the pure devotee. Again, serving the spiritual master, serving the mission. And then all what is troublesome to the heart is taken away from the heart. And what is that troublesome? That is explained in the next verse. That the mode of passion and ignorance is good. But then, of course, one hears, serves the spiritual master, get taste for hearing. What does Krishna do when you get taste for hearing? Shrimpata Svakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtnarityanta Toya Bhaktuna Vidano Surchatam. He enters the heart and takes away. It takes away all what is troublesome to the heart. It cleanses the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge for hearing about that And then Tatora Chastanova Kamloku President. It takes away what's troublesome to that. What's troublesome? Passion and ignorance. We will hear about that in the 14th chapter. Passion and ignorance is troublesome to the heart. That yes, passion and ignorance. And when all this passion and ignorance is removed from the heart, what happens then? Evam Pranasa Manasa Bhagavat Bhakti Yoga Bhagavat Tattva Vishyanam Mukta Sanghas Vichayati. Then Mukta Sanghas Vichayati, you attain liberation because Bhagavat Bhakti Yoga, you develop this love for Krishna, that it's linking you up with Krishna. And then Bhagavat Tattva Vishyanam. Then you come in contact with the absolute truth and you get realized knowledge. That's the whole process. It starts with hearing, Krishna says. You must hear. Very important. To know Krishna, we must hear about him. How much are we hearing? Because at the end of the previous chapter, Krishna has said, yeah, the yogi is one who thinks of Krishna in the heart. So, by practice of devotional service, the practice manmana, we fix the mind of Krishna. But that begins from hearing about Krishna from his devotees. So that's also stressed. Hearing is most potent if done in association of devotees. You can read all Bhagavad Gita, but what we are now doing is much more important. We are discussing it in association of devotees. So therefore, we must regularly hear in association of devotees. It's nice to hear a lecture on the internet, but it's good to have the association personally. Much more important. So the progression, how it happens, is explained in the verses of the Bhagavatam that Prabhupada mentioned here. And then one becomes free from doubt, one becomes situated in pure goodness and enlightened in devotional service. Bhagavat Bhakti Yoga, and then Bhagavat Tattva Vishyanam, then one understands the times of God. So this is important for us. And what happens if you come to that level? Let's look. Yanantam Sabhishyanam Idam Bhakshana Srisha Tattapanya Uyanyan Kyanatatam Apshisha. I shall not declare unto you in full this knowledge, both anomal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. The complete knowledge means the knowledge of this phenomenal world and the spirit behind that and the spirit behind it and the source of both of the spiritual and energy. So that's transcendental knowledge. So about that. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord in disciplic succession directly from Krishna. At the end, when the cause of all causes becomes known, then everything knowable becomes known, and nothing remains unknown. I have a quote here of Prabhupada. Then Krishna says that now this knowledge of God is not a sentiment, it's a science, it's scientific. Nobody can deny it. We are not preaching any particular type of sentiment or any broad speculation. It is a fact. How our relationship with the Supreme can develop, how we are related to Him. These things are facts on philosophical basis. Therefore, Krishna is assuring Arjuna that what I'm saying to you is not a religious sentiment, but it is jnana. Jnana means practical knowledge. Jnana means tip. Yeah, means it is practical knowledge. Jnana means theoretical knowledge, and vijnana means practical knowledge. Okay. Yeah, that these words Jnana and Vijnana. Yeah. Oh. I was not aware that this was on the screen even, that of course I can read. Better. But the text 3. Now, is that easy attainable? Yeah, does everyone in this world attain the knowledge of Krishna and Jnana, Vijnana? Krishna explains in the third verse. Manushyam satsatyu kashi yatatam siddhari. Yatatama visidanam kashmim. Out of many thousands of men, one may endeavor towards perfection, and those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. That among many, one may endeavor for perfection, many thousands. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Here Krishna starts his complaint. Hardly one knows me in truth. And he will complain in 7:13, and then at the beginning of the 10th chapter again, the complaints will go. Nobody knows me in this world. But he explains, of course, in Bhagavad Gita, how to know him. 11:54, Krishna says, I can only be known by Ananyava, pure devotion service. And then again, he will explain in 18:55, I think, Bhakti Amama Vichanti. That's the only way. But to know Krishna, one must go to that process. First get liberation, and then Paramatma, and then you can know Krishna. So that's a process. But to get liberation, you must have knowledge of liberation. That's the problem. No one has knowledge of liberation. It's not transcendental knowledge. Which religion teaches the difference between the body and the soul? You find it only in Hinduism. Otherwise, it's not there. But therefore, the disagreement helps one to develop this knowledge of to attain liberation. Out of many thousands of men, one may endeavor for perfection, those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So, generally, mankind is simply engaged in animal propensities. That's epic. Prabhupada they are all like animals. But because what does an animal do? Identifies with the body. If a human being identifies with the body, it's not better than an animal. And that problem, all the other religions do not solve those issues. The first 6 chapters of the Gita are meant for those who are interested in transcendental knowledge, in understanding the soul of the spiritual and the process of realization by jnana or jnana yoga, discriminating the self from matter. So that's the first thing one must do. That, however, Krishna can be known only by persons who are in Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness. It's very difficult to know Krishna, even though one has transcendental realization of impersonal Brahma. Therefore, unless one practices devotion, serves the Lord, one cannot know Krishna, as he is Tathagata, even though one is great scholar or philosopher. This is a quotation from Nectar of Devotion. Atas Krishna Namadi Navavatkai Indriyai Shivamupi Jivatu Swameva Svatata. No one can understand Krishna as he is by the blood material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotees being pleased with them for their constant love and service unto him. Yeah. How does Krishna reveal himself? Please? Yes, transcendental love and service. And he will speak about that in this person later. 725, he will tell that he does not reveal himself to everyone. Good. And now text for Krishna will speak about his separate material enemies. Usually that is a meditation verse. Earth, water, fire, earth, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 constitute my separate material energies. This is an analysis of the material nature. 8, of course, we have this body, we have a subtle body. The gross body is Bhumiratnalabhaya. And the subtle body is Manas, Buddhi, and Ahankar. These 3 is the subtle body. But it's all material, gross or subtle body. And as Krishna says, Bina. Bina means separated material and not directly connected. Separated. Yes. The material world is a temporary manifestation of one of the energies of the Lord. All the activities of the material world are directed by these 3 Krishna expansions of the Lord, which they are explained before. Karnataka Krishna, Karnataka Krishna, Shirodaka. That doing the rules of the dance. Generally, we do not know the signs of Krishna. Krishna assumes that this material world is for as enjoyment of the living entities, and the living entities are the Purusas, the causes, controllers, and enjoyers of the material energy. But Krishna is the original cause. At the end, therefore, on the 8 separate energies of the Lord are manifested 24 elements of the material world. The subject matter for discussion in Sankhya philosophy is one of the manifestations of the external energy of Krishna, as is described in Bhagavad Gita. The Sankhya means keeping account of all the elements. And we will go further in this Sankhya in the 13th chapter, 24 elements. We will discuss there, in the 13th chapter. So here we have a quote of Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. Can someone read this first time? Can someone read it? And do you have a mic?
Did not mean separated. Example is when I speak into the same. When you're replaying it, you hear my voice. But it's not me, it's my separated energy. With my energy, I have spoken. I have vibrated through sound and it is recorded on the tape. When it is played back, this is exactly the same sound, but it's separated from me. Try to understand. This material world is just like that. No, separate. Real life is in the spiritual world, and these energy, the external energy, Krishna says, are separated. Separated means you cannot perceive Krishna directly from his energy.
Thank you so much. So this is the material energy. In the next verse, Krishna will speak about his spiritual energy. The living entities belong to this higher energy. So important to remember, Krishna, Bhagavan has his energies, and he has different energies. Spiritual energies, which can be divided again in different. Material energies, which can be divided in these 7 elements, you can also divide it into 3 modes. That yes. So material nature of Prakriti is called a separated energy. And we are trapped into this material energy. That so and we are trapped. And why are we trapped in this material energy? Because we think ourselves the Purush, the enjoyer. That so one who thinks himself the enjoyer, that he does not recognize the real enjoyer, the Bhakti Tapasan. It's Krishna. Then that's the problem. That's how we come into this, are connected with this separated energy of Krishna. We have separated our consciousness from Krishna. Krishna out of the picture. And we put ourselves in the picture and enjoy it. And then you come and trapped in this material energy. You cannot come out again unless you connect again with Krishna. But the point is, Krishna will say in the next verse, we are superior energy. Why are we trying to exploit this inferior energy? We are superior. We should connect with the superior energy, and then we feel at home. And not try to exploit what's inferior. Yeah. Thanks. Or 5. Aparayamitas Pamyam Praktim Piname Palam Shiva Bhutama Bol Chaitanda. Besides these Samadhi attachment, there is another severe energy of mind which comprises the living entities, and by exploiting the resources of this material and pure nature. But here it is clearly mentioned that the living entities belong to the superior energy of the Lord. So it is due to his energy that the entire world functions. Superior energy. Because of the superior energy. Because of the spiritual energy, everything is going on. Because nothing is dead. Because living entities. The point is we are controlled by the Lord. We have no separate independence. In the 15th chapter, it's called Purushottam Yoga. At the end of this chapter, Krishna explains the three sloka Gita, the whole Bhagavad Gita summarized in 3 slokas. In that, Krishna says that there are 2 kinds of living entities, the liberated and the conditioned. And then in the next verse it says, I'm above both of them. And I'm controlling the liberated and the conditioned soul. The 2 different elements. But both are controlled. We are always controlled, either by the spiritual or the material energy. But because we are still spiritual, we feel happy in the spiritual. And we get importance when we try to exploit the inferior energy. Therefore, real liberation entails surrender of by the living entities to your control. And that is the point of this chapter. Surrendering to the Krishna. And that surrender will make them happy. The Supreme Lord is the only controller, and all living entities are controlled by him. This forgetfulness is due to the influence of matter from the living entity. But when the living entity becomes free from the illusory material energy, it's called Bhakti, liberation. So, can someone read the quote on the board here? Any volunteer to read? Yes. Mike?
I think he addressed as Mahabharata, the great warrior. Can you understand what is meant by great warrior? Whoever is acting under Krishna's direction is a great warrior. Just as Arjuna is fighting this battle. So when you take shelter of Krishna and fight against material opposing elements, Sudras, you are also Mahabharata. You are fighting with persons who are not Krishna conscious. You are pushing on the Krishna consciousness movement by fighting. But this fighting is different. This was fought by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna, Varnam, Krishna Krishnam, Sango Pangasya Partharam, Sa Ango Upanga Kasya.
And Lord Chaitanya's fighting is different. Yes, also his astras, his weapons, but his weapon was the Hare Krishna mantra, Harinam Sankirtan, with all his associates. And he was killing the demoniac tendency in the heart, the tendency that makes us exploiting this material. Good. So, in other words, what do we learn here? First, living entities are Krishna superior energy, right? Yeah. And he explained also what's the liberation, that giving up all material conceptions of wanting to exploit is not correct. including the desire to merge with God. So by surrendering to Krishna's control, one realizes, oh, I'm an eternal servant of Krishna, just by surrendering. Now, Krishna in text 6 will explain that is the source of these two energies. Itayonini Buddham is Savanita Balarya, Ankasnaya Charita Papa Kalyastata. All created beings have their source in these two natures. Of all this material and all of the spiritual in this world, know for certain that anger, both the origin and dissolution. So everything in this world, Krishna says, is a combination of these two energies, material and spiritual. But matters exist only on the basis of spirit. And Krishna is the cause of both, of the living entity, the super soul, and that is the cause of all causes. The cause of material and spiritual energy is the cause of the living entity and the super soul. And that's called the cause of all causes. That's what Srila Prabhupada explains in the Prabhupada. The entire cosmic manifestation of the gigantic universe is developed because of the presence of the super soul. Therefore, spiritual matter is continuing to manifest this gigantic universe to form our original two energies. Consequently, the Lord is eternal because of everything. You know, the last verse, before we wake up for 10 minutes, Mata Patanam Yakish Dastitanam Jan Aisavanta Potam Sutkamakaiva. A cook of thought is no truth superior to me. Everything has to be as pearls as burn on a thread. So if someone tells you Brahman is the soul of Krishna, what do we reply? We reply, Mata Paranam Yakish Dastitanam Sarvamaya Mai Sarvamidam Pudam Sutramana Kanaiva. There's no truth superior to me. So Brahman is not superior to Krishna. Krishna will also say, the last verse of the 14th chapter, that the Brahman is Brahmanoi Patishtanam. Brahman comes for me, he says. He says that literally. So yeah, we can defeating personalist, yeah. But note that for right time may be interesting. But in this verse in particular, he stressed that absolute truth is a person. That so many think, yeah, God is not a person. True, he's not a person like us. But we are made to the image of God. And God, we are persons, and God cannot be a person. No, we are going to limit God. No, it doesn't make sense. Transcendence who has no material form and is free from all material contamination. Anyone who can know him also becomes transcendent. But those who do not know him suffer miseries of this. The impersonalists put more stress on the word arupa, but this arupa is not impersonal. It indicates the transcendental form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge as described in Brahma Samhita. Yes. For the verses, from these verses, one concludes that the supreme absolute truth is the supreme personality of God that is all completed by its multi-energies, both material and spiritual. We have a quote. Yeah. World is round, and the innumerable universes are also round. Interesting. Go back. Can read the next quote in the middle sphere.
In the material sphere, there are so many planets. Sun, moon, Venus, they're all listed on
So we have an analogy. Thank you. We have an analogy. So you have a necklace of pearls. You see only the pearls, not the thread. That, but the thread is there. But we see only the pearls. So we see only matter and its gold, but we don't see Krishna behind. That's an analogy. Put it on your list of analogies to the Nana. This is an important one because it's in the verse itself. So Krishna confirms his superiority in relation to the absolute truth. That it solves also the problem. Is the absolute personal and impersonal? It's personal, and it has its impersonal aspect also. It's included. Brahman is impersonal. Good. Much more to say about this. But any question?
Sometimes people ask whether the evidence to be personal or impersonal. So the answer should be both. Or, some people ask whether the truth is so is it correct to say that the absolute truth is both?
It's both, but the person is superior. Yeah. So, and the Sastri quote that we quote uses Vedanta that so Vidas that one Gana that one Ramit Ramati that one. So Sastri. That's the learned transcendentalists concluded that the absolute truth has three features. That's Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. But the Bhagavan, the qualities of the absolute truth are only fully manifested in his personal feature, Bhagavan. And the other features are included within him. That Paramatma, Brahman. Brahman is his impersonal energy. That That's interesting. But it is anyway. That, so yeah, is therefore we have home. Home is representing Brahma. You will hear that at the end of the 17th chapter. There, Krishna explains Om Tat Sat, and we will see where Om refers to Tat and Sat. And there that will be further qualified and further clarified also when we discuss this person. The personal form is superior and impersonal is Brahman and that we can explain. So yes, it's impersonal is included in. Yeah. Thank you. We will now have a break for 10 minutes till 10 past 8. 10 past 8, we will resume and have another hour. Thank you. Hare Krishna. We continue. It's 8 to 14. No. In this verses, Krishna now becomes more practical. He will tell us in verses from 8 to 12 how is the essence of everything. So how to see Krishna in this world. Because we have heard the spiritual energy is a superior energy. And nothing can go on in this material world without the influence, without the superior energy. And the super soul is behind everything in this world. Superior energy. So Krishna is the origin of the essence of everything. And then we will come to the point, but some people will not recognize him as a supreme personality of God. And Krishna says, yes, I'm beyond the three modes and nobody knows me. And in text 13 and 14 of this section, Krishna says, the living entities are all deluded and controlled by this church of this three modes of nature. But what's the solution? How can we get out of control of these gunas? It's surrendering to Krishna, he says. Because why surrendering? Krishna controls the modes. Then you become free from it. So you must know who is the controller and surrender to this control. That's the message. Text 8. Rasramapsikante ya prabhasmisansi suryayo pranavave sabhavedis sapta kepo samvisham. The son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun, and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, and I am the sound in ether and ability in man. So this verse explains how the Lord is all pervasive by his diverse material and spiritual energies. In the middle, one who knows God knows that the impersonal conception and personal conception are simultaneously present in everything and that there is no contradiction. Simultaneously present. So, because everything is resting on Brahman. And in every atom in this world, and between every atom, it's a super soul that's personal. So that is the essence of our philosophy, philosophy of Deutsche as Cynthia Veda Veda Tata, one and different at the same time. And simultaneous oneness and difference. So those who do not know Krishna are in illusion, and also knowledge of Krishna's liberation and ignorance of him is bondage. Ignorance of Krishna is bondage. Therefore Krishna said before in the fourth chapter, one who knows me, one who knows me in truth, that he does not take birth again. That because when one knows Krishna, one's ignorance is gone. One has realized I'm a servant of Krishna. But, so yes, that here I'm the taste of water. But yeah, I think that's quotes. Can someone read this quote which is on the board?
Doctor gives you medicine, he gives you directions to drink this medicine, take the bottle and take 2 drops or 5 drops. Gradually you understand that by taking the medicine you are being cured and you are feeling well. Similarly, a prescription is given by Krishna. Actually, it's a meditation. When we meditate upon the taste of the water, it means we are meditating on Krishna. Similarly, Krishna says, Prabhasmi Sasasuri Yoga. I am the sunshine, moonshine. So, who has not seen sunshine? If you have seen the sunshine, and if you follow this prescription given by Krishna, then early in the morning you will see Krishna. When do you say, I have not seen Krishna? Krishna is not present before me. Follow the Krishna's instruction and you will be present. He is present and we have to purify our eyes and senses to understand him. Prema Jnana Churita Bhakti Vilojanina Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu. Suppose you have a beloved friend. When you hear a telephone, you ask, who is it? This is Deland. You immediately see your friend. Similarly, in this way, if you develop your dormant love for Krishna, you will see Krishna in everyone.
And also, someone else can read the next quote.
I am the case of any liquid that attracts you. Even if you are a drunkard and fond of wine, I should recommend the secret thing that this case of wine is Krishna. That will make a yogi of you. That will make you the greatest thing. Humility. I'm tasting wine. Oh, very nice things. This is Krishna. Isn't that easy? That is Krishna conscious.
Don't do it. X9. But the taste of water is the basis of all tastes. And water is in everything. And Krishna speaks about the sunshine, the light of the sun, the moon. Every time you see the sun, the moon, everything, you drink any liquid, you can think of Krishna. Krishna saying, I'm the taste, I'm the light, Learning to see Krishna in whatever happens. And I got just someone asked me during the post, Brahma, about his creation, but I said, Brahma is an instrument. He doesn't know how to create, but it happens somewhere or another. It's like a mother comes pregnant. Aspiring mothers, it becomes pregnant and the baby goes. Do you know how it goes? Do you have control over it? No. Brahma is the same thing and creates in the same way. So we can appreciate Krishna in all these wonderful things in the world. That Krishna is explaining that factually The only thing what's here in this world, the only thing what's here is Krishna. There's only Krishna in this world. Paramatma is everywhere. But we have separated our consciousness. And here is explaining, I'm the essence of everything, and it continues. Bunyakarna pradipyamsa teyasasmi vivams. Jivanam sarvatasu tavasasmi tavasmi. I'm the original fragments of the earth, and I'm the heat in the fire. I'm the life of all that lives, and the penances of all our cities. So the unconverted flavor, original flavor which permeates everything. So like you have the earth, and a plant grows and then gives fruits. This plant grows because of the roots are in the earth, and the fruit is taken from the earth energy, and the earth transforms into a fruit. So it's coming from the earth, that and all these tastes are in the earth, but it gets extracted and puts that in the fruit. That and then there's a certain taste, mango or whatever, that's coming from the earth. That yeah. In Krishna consciousness, we become aware that earth, water, fire, air, ether, every active principle are all chemicals and all material elements are due to Krishna. The duration of a man's life is able due to Krishna. Therefore, by the grace of Krishna, man can prolong his life or diminish it. So Krishna consciousness is active in every sphere that can someone read quote 9 on the it's ready to the next verse. You can someone can read.
Number 9.
Yeah.
The same venue, the same water, same garden, but different flowers have a different perfume. Therefore, it is answered in the Bhagavad Gita that nature is not all in all. Nature cannot work independently. There is controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He rules that each kind of beta or seed will produce a particular kind of flower or a flavor. We fools cannot explain it. We ask, what is this nature? There must be intelligence behind nature. Otherwise, how could a rose flower so beautiful, even from an artistic point of view, if you want a pen, one flower, it takes so much effort, so many colors, so many materials, and even then you cannot pen one like rose. There is no comparison between the painting and the original flower. So to produce a third-class flower, you need so much effort. Therefore, can you say that a first-class flower has no intelligence behind it? That is not very good word.
Intelligence. But human beings think themselves so intelligent. There's different kinds of intelligence. Practical intelligence, yeah. Business intelligence, philosophical intelligence, so many intelligence. But then some animals have intelligence that the humans don't have saviors. I see always this, these pigeons who are flying in group, and they have their destination. They know their destination. They have certain fish, and they fly. They swim from one side to another side of the ocean. That who is guiding them? How is this possible? But then they are flying to the right destination. But I was last year. I was mainly staying at the Belgian coast, the North Sea. It's a part of the Atlantic Ocean, but going to the north. That and in April, suddenly all these seagulls they fly from South France. They fly to Belgium, to the coast, Ostend, and so on, and then they are like tourists. Every year they come in April, and in September they go. And they come with thousands. And they know their way. That's who is guiding them. So you can start to appreciate Krishna in all these things. And therefore Krishna says that Pichanam Sabhutanam Vidapakasnatnam Buddhya Putipatamam Smithya Seshanamam. O son of Krita, know that I am the original seed of all existence, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the progress of all powerful men. Vichya means the seed of everything. But like I'm the capability in man. So we have all certain capabilities. But don't think it's yours. It's Krishna working through you. It's Krishna is the doer of all activities. And we are also doing, but we are not the doer. We are depending on the doing Krishna. It's very important to learn. Krishna gives us this capability because of our past karma. But he can take them away. You have a question, please?
They made it, they get parts of something, and people are probably the students and probably the people find doing everything and
Yeah, it is Krishna reciprocates without desire. If we desire to do foolish things, Krishna will against that we are doing foolish things. That's certainly. Krishna fulfills our desires as we deserve. That's important to understand. If we desire to do the wrong thing, we do the wrong thing.
don't desire to do the wrong thing, but you just ignorant.
Yeah, then we should come out of ignorance. It's because of our ignorance we make mistakes. Well, we will see that in the chapter 9, 22. Yeah, Ananya Sintyanta Krishna Prabhastiti Nitya Anurvakshem. Krishna gives us what we need to make further advancement. And Krishna may arrange sometimes that we feel embarrassed because we did the wrong thing. Like Prahlad Maharaj, Prabhupada said, he asked Prahlad Maharaj, how do I know what Krishna wants me to do? And Prabhupada said, you will do the wrong thing. And that's with all of us. That we are here in this world because we are doing the wrong thing. And Krishna allows us to do the wrong thing out of love. That's like a father and a son. It's explained. The son wants to do something that the father doesn't want. And the father said, don't do it. But then yeah, the son said, no, I want. Okay, you experience. And he allows the son to get to the experience, to learn. So Krishna gives us the experience. We are in this material world. You want to enjoy, okay, you enjoy. But nothing will work out. Frustration will be there. That's Krishna teaching us. Don't do it. But the materialistic people, they don't get it. But the devotees, they get it. And it's not that because you are a devotee that suddenly all your karma is gone. No, you get your karma and you get the reactions of the stupid things you have done. And sometimes you cannot do anything about it. We have seen that devotees, nice devotees, no mistaking them, but suddenly on the internet, whole group of other devotees start to complain about these devotees and murder his character in 5 seconds. And the person is not doing anything wrong. That's karma. Krishna does not take it away. But we have to be careful in this. Anyway, does that help? Okay. So, Vichyanam Sarvabhutnam Vidiparasanatam Buddhibhutamatamasmiti Asti Astinam. So I'm the original seed of all existence, the intelligence of the intelligence, and the powers of powerful man. So we should never think if we do something very nice, I've done it, and I take the credit. No, you are stealing the honor from Krishna. You have been only the instrument. Krishna allows you to do it. And we should remain very humble. So the impersonal Brahman is situated in the personal aspect. That impersonal Brahman is situated in the personal aspect. That we should remember. Very clear. That is stated in Bhagavad Gita, long like that. Krishna, being the original root of all things, maintains everything in this matter. Nityo Nityananam Sheta Shetananam Eka Bhaunam Yovidata Kam. Prabhupada quoted that so many times. Nityo Nityanam is the supreme eternal among all other eternals. Sheta Shetanamam. So he is the supreme conscious among all conscious beings. Eka Bhaunam Yovidadati Kamam, and he fulfills the desires of everyone else, material or spiritual. Krishna does it. That 11. Krishna continues. Balavatam Cham Kamaranga Vibhajita Dharma Vyoti Kute Sukhamasmi Paratakshava. I'm the strength of the strong, the void of passion and desire, and sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles, but also of the paradox. So Baba writes. The strong man's strength should be applied to protect the weak, not for personal aggression. Similarly, sex life, according to religious principles, should be for the propagation of children, not otherwise. The responsibility of the parents is then to make their offspring Krishna conscious. that is the duty of a parent, that of course, in the fifth canto, we hear go and association and association. So one should not become a spiritual master or a relative. What can you do about that? But one should not be a relative. But one should not become a parent if one cannot make independence. So means the mother, the father is a guru of the children, and that's important aspect. Good. Then 12. Yesheva Satvika Baba Rachasastamatasayim Matayaviti Company Nathantis Deshate Mai. Know that the whole stage, being goodness, passion, and ignorance, are manifest by my energy, and that I'm in a sense everything, but I'm independent. I'm not under the laws of nature. For on the contrary, they are within me. So Krishna says, yes, that this goodness, passion, and ignorance, they are emanating from me. But I am not subject to material nature. I'm the controller of the material nature. In the 9-10 will confirm that Maya Dakshina Prakatichu Chacharajan is the superintendent of material nature. But he's nirguna, means that these gunas or the modes are all issuing from him, and they do not affect him. And then we have verse 13, the Krishna will complain again. Polluted by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, full of not knowing, when above the modes and exhausted. Those who are bewildered by these modes cannot understand the transcendental this material nature is the supreme personality of God. Every living entity under the influence of material nature has a particular type of body, particular type of psychological and biological activities according. But although life is temporary, we do not know what we are going to be in the next life. By the spill of illusion energy, we consider ourselves in terms of body conception. We think ourselves American, Indian, Russian, or Brahmin, Hindu, Muslim, and so on. If we become entangled with the laws of nature, then we forget the supreme personality of God that is behind the laws. So Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these laws, and those who are truly established in Krishna consciousness are actually liberated. So now text 14 is a very important verse. That's the conclusion of today. How can we know Krishna? We have to surrender to Krishna. Evayesa guyam gunamai mamamaya drachiyam mamibaye papachante mayametam tarantite. This divine energy consists of this divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered, we can easily cross beyond it. So we have heard before the living entities are superior energy, and that although we are superior energy, we are bound by the ropes of illusion of the material energy. And since when are we in that situation? Krishna says, Srila Prabhupada explains, Nityabada, we are Nityabada. Literally, that means eternally conditioned. But Prabhupada describes the meaning of that. He says, we cannot trace back when this conditioning began. It is too far away, so millions of years or births ago, and we cannot trace it back. It does Nityabada does not mean that we cannot become Nitya Siddhi. You can become again an eternal associate of the Lord in the spiritual world. And that's why Bhagavad Gita has been spoken to bring us back to in our original status in the spiritual energy. So the living entity cannot easily get released from material nature, because material nature is under the control of Krishna. So you have to know who controls the nature. It's under the control of Krishna. Therefore, we need the mercy of Krishna. He alone can set us free. Krishna is the master of Maya, and he can set the conditioned soul free. The only thing we have to do is we must come free from these modes by surrendering to Krishna. So this is a very important point. I read a few parts of the Bible. All the living entities are part of his energies, and therefore divine. Due to contact with material energy, their superior power is covered. So we have superior power that is covered. We have a spiritual body, but we cannot use it because we use the material body in the service of ourselves, which we think ourselves about. Then Srila speaks about Nityavata, that I have explained. Although Maya is false or temporary, the background of Maya is the supreme magician, the personality of Godhead, who is Maheshvara or Maheshvara, the supreme controller. And then it speaks about the gunas, the three kinds of robes: Sattva guna, Rajaguna, Samaguna, Sattva guna. But maybe someone can read quote 14, it's a short one.
Another meaning for Guna is robe. To take 3 robes and break them. It's from a very strong robe. That is also
So how to cross the ocean material existence? We have heard the verse Akshatas Bhavyos Sabhagyo Bhavit Savagana Bhavinara Vishna Sandrisha. Once you are situated on a boat, you will be able to cross over the ocean of material suffering. That boat of knowledge, the boat knowledge of Krishna. So it means surrender to Krishna. How do we surrender to Krishna? Following his instructions in Bhagavad Gita, he explains how to transcend much nature. Because these 3 ropes are very strong. That because how are we controlled by material nature? We are controlled by material nature because we think ourselves the body. And that's all we think ourselves a certain. It's very deep. This has become a second habit. We are doing it for millions of births. It is second habit. That how to get rid of this second habit. that to surrender to Krishna, but this surrender is a process of purification of the heart. That therefore we have to perform pure devotional service, and we have to attain this, because that's what Krishna wants us to do, perform Ananya Bhakti. Ananya Bhakti, pure devotional service. And we'll hear more about that in 11:55. Krishna gives different methods of Ananya Bhakti. That form pure devotional service. Sarva Vadi Panir Muktam Tat Bharat Manadhanam Rishken Rishken Sevna Bhakti. Pure devotional service is acting without upadis, without false ego, that without upadis, levels of false ego. We are covered by it. We don't eat onions, but if you have an onion, then you peel one level after another. And then at the end you have practically the seed in the middle. But it's like that. You start Krishna consciousness and you start peeling off the layers of false ego one after another. And when you are through anartha nivritti, then you got it starts with following the four regulated principles. You follow that, and the outer shells fell away already. But then after that, you have to get rid of all gross desires in the heart, especially sex desire. So, and then when that is gone after 20-30 years, then mostly there is the subtle part, which is very tough. The last parts are the most tough. Desire for profit, distinction. It's subtle. So that's a process of purification, surrendering to Krishna, getting rid of this false ego. And we have heard the sixth chapter, the control of the mind. That interesting, because this is a deep science. In the 11th canto, the Buddha is asking a question to Krishna. He says, you have this object of the senses, and you have the mind, and they are intimately connected, the object of the senses with the mind. How can we break that connection? That someone has an answer here. You think of things in this world, and these persons, these bodies, all this impression comes in your mind. So by that we are attracted. How can you break that? How can you break the connection between the mind and the sense objects? Engaging in something higher. Other proposals?
That because the Thakur said, only by the sound vibration of Krishna you can practice all.
Okay.
Also with the knowledge, non-junction means when you see an object, let's say a man sees a woman, I should realize that this is outer dress and there is spirit soul around the super soul there. There's body, subtle body, there's spirit, and there's if he realizes 5 things, then his flow of thoughts towards sex and other things will be diverted.
And this is a process, yeah.
I try to understand how it is can be connected to Krishna. That particular object.
Yeah. Okay. Uddhava asked this question to Krishna. What was the answer of Krishna in the 11th canto? Krishna said, oh, many times, long time ago, the same question was asked by the four commands to Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma said, I don't know, I cannot answer that question. I don't know. Krishna has four heads, but he doesn't know. And but then Lord Brahma prays to the Lord, and the Lord appears as Hamsa Avatar. And he appears before these four Kumaras. And there is a whole discussion anyway. But the Lord explains, he gives quite a different answer from the Lord. He said the connection between the mind and the sense objects cannot be broken, impossible. The only thing we can do is by devotional service, we fix our mind on Krishna. And then the mind is fixed on Krishna, and this connection becomes irrelevant because it's the body, the subtle body, the mind, connected with the sense objects. And that's all material under the control of the super. But if we are connected with Krishna, then the mind is busy with Krishna and not with that connection. So you cannot break that connection. But by Krishna consciousness, we come out of the influence of that connection. That's a very deep science. So, yes.
So the connection cannot be broken, but it is bypassed or
Bypass. Yes, by Krishna consciousness. Because you do not, and now we identify the body with the mind and so on. But then when we come to the identification of the spiritual body, yes, the gross body and the subtle body is still there somewhat, but we are not aware of it, we are connected. And that's the ultimate goal. If we are Krishna conscious, we are not under the influence of that connection, of that attraction. That we should always remember. Srila Prabhupada many times said, Mama Maya Darshana, the material energy is stronger than you. You cannot overcome this. You can only get out of the influence of the material energy by being connected. We are not going to fight with Maya always. But we can get out of our influence. Anyway, I jump to the conclusion of the Bhagavatam. This is a very advanced knowledge. Anyway, what we have to remember now is we surrender to Krishna and we come out of the influence. Good, thank you very much. We continue at 11. Jai Prabhupada.